Okay, so what we're going to tie today is a little dark olive. I guess it's like a traditional kind of dry fly, but it does have a CDC wing on it. So the hook I'm going to use for this is a Kamzan B160, which is a short shank special hook. And size, I'm going to tie this on a size 16, which I think is the smallest that they do in this hook now. But because it's a short shank, it probably makes the fly equivalent of a size 18 fly. Excuse the colour of my fingers, I've been doing a bit of dyeing stuff and forgot to wear gloves, which was stupid. Anyway, I'm going to use a sort of a nano thread or a very fine GSP here. The thing about these is very fine, very strong, no friction. So they are quite prone to pulling out when you're just starting or slipping on the shank. So what I like to do is once I get the shank wrapped in it, I like to put a little bit of varnish onto that. So for the tail on this fly, what we're going to use is a little bit of a cock hackle dyed. This one's like a brown olive, I suppose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a tail that's maybe at least the length of the body, maybe up to 2 times the length of the body, just depends on your own personal preference. So I'm sort of holding that slightly over on my side, so then as I take the thread across it, it will roll it over and therefore be straight up and down. We take that forward and I should be able to just nip off the ends of that, but if you don't want to do that, cut them off. So next thing I'm going to put on is my wing. So for the wing on this one, I'm going to use a CDC feather. Don't get overly hung up on the colour, etc. This is just a natural CDC. So what I do is I take my thread up, not right to the eye, because I want there to be room for a turn of thread or so, or a turn of hackle in front of it. So it's just hanging maybe a mil back off the eye. I hold the CDC feather up on top and put over maybe a couple of loose-ish wraps, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull that back until I get essentially the height that my wing is going to be. And again, that depends on the size of the hackle you're using and your own personal preferences, but I would like it to be slightly higher than my hackle is going to be wide, if that makes sense. So then we'll trim that off. So body on this one, what I'm going to use is stripped herl. So this is peacock herl that we've stripped the fibres off, and to me there's no better thing for making the sort of segmented, realistic olive body. So I'll tie that in, and then again I'm just going to put a little bit of super glue, or not super glue, this is varnish, you could use super glue. And I'm going to wrap the body in that. Now I turn the fly, as you'll see, so it might be harder for you to see, but it's also easier for me to see what I'm doing whenever I flip the fly over sideways like that. And I also find that it means that the point of the hook is less likely to catch my thread, etc. So I tie that in, tried to rip it off, didn't work, and we end up with this segmented, I think very realistic body for a mayfly or a olive or any of these sort of similar family. So hackle, what I'm going to use is this. So this is it had been a red game hackle that I then over dyed olive, so I've got this sort of dark browny olive colour out of it. And what I'll do is I'll strip off the last couple of mil or so of the fibres. I'm going to tie that in just on my side, and I'm leaving my thread at the back of where I intend to wrap my hackle back to. Okay. Now, you can choose to wrap this with the hackle sort of folding slightly back or pointing forward. It's up to yourself. I don't think it matters at this kind of size. What I'll do now is I'm going to take my hackle forward in one sort of turn. Also, remember my stock was kind of a little bit bare. I'm going to pull back that CDC and I'm going to put a wrap of hackle in front of it. So you can see now the hackle is now supporting this wing in an upright position. And then I'm going to come backwards. Again, the number of turns is up to yourself as to how dense or heavy you want this fly to be dressed. Once I get as far back as what I want, I can let that go because I have a turn of hackle across it, or sorry, a turn of thread across it. And this is where I think that clear, colourless gel spin or nano thread really helps. So I'm now wrapping through my wraps of thread. I'm wrapping across each wrap of, I'm wrapping my thread through the wraps of hackle. Each turn is going across the hackle stems. There's no way this is going to pull out. Even if one bit of it broke, the rest of it will be held in by the thread. Once I get to the front, what I'll do is I'll just snap off my hackle, and then what I've took to finishing with is one of these. This is a Stonefo half hitch. This is the smallest sized one. What I'll do is I just come up over the eye and do that 2 or 3 times. What I've found with this is that it's very useful for where we have stuff in the way, so hackle fibres. That you're less likely to tie stuff down than doing it with a whip finisher or hand finishing. So that is our fly tied. All it remains to do is I'm going to a little bit of varnish here on the top of our thread. So I like to put a little bit of blib on it. I'm not too worried if I get excess, like if it goes into the eye, because I'm going to clean that out, and I'd rather have it secure and then clean it out than clean eye and the head fall apart. So what I'll do is just pass a hackle stem through that, pull it through to clean it, and that is our little dark olive tied. So hopefully you like what you've seen. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, check out all the hundreds of other videos that there are on the channel, and until next time, tight lines. Thanks for watching.